Welcome to the drums. It's groundbreaking, it's inspiring, and now, your host.
Welcome to the drums. We're here in Dubai, and I'm so happy to have with us our guest, Naetha Uren. Naetha, welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you
the drums.
so much.
And it's so fun to have you. Naetha, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about what we're up to cause in the world in transformation.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Naetha Uren. I'm the CEO and founder of Recovery Coach Academy. I am also the glue to 4 generations living in one house, controlled chaos, full of lots of love. So we have my 83-year-old mom, me and my husband, my 31-year-old daughter, and my 12-year-old grandson. So there is always something going on in our house. But we set up Recovery Coach Academy because when my daughter was affected by substance misuse and came to live with us from Texas to England.
So you live in England?
Yes.
Okay, so tell people that you used to live in the States.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about that, then we'll talk about your business.
Cool. I used to live in Texas. I came to live in England, I'm going to age myself, 25 years ago, 24 years ago.
Okay. Yesterday.
Yes, just yesterday, darling. And then when my daughter was living in Texas and affected by substance use, sort of had to fly back, try to do all I could to save my family and my grandson. And so blessed that she found her way into recovery. So we said, come live with us in England and we'll give you an opportunity to have a fresh start, rebuild relationships. And so she came back to live with us in England. And I think often people think when their loved ones go into treatment that when they get out, everything's going to be cool and fun. And it ain't. You know, I think the first year was one of the hardest years ever, learning to live again, learning to communicate, learning to set healthy boundaries. All of that was just, crazy. So
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you said you left England because your daughter was in trouble. How did you know your daughter was in trouble?
How far do you think a mother's intuition really works from?
Wow.
I was sitting in a meeting in Reading, England, and I just had that feeling. My heart started pounding, and I just went, something is really, really, really wrong. So I grabbed my laptop and I snuck off into this little corner of like one of those typical 1800-year-old pubs and into a nook, and I started searching. And it was back in the day when Facebook used to tell you, this person has not been online for 27 hours. Her age, not being online for 27 hours, I just knew there was a problem. And so started looking, called my son who lived in Texas, and just from 5,682 miles away, my intuition was on fire. And I just always say, never ever underestimate the power of a mother's intuition.
I just wanted to make sure that our viewers got that, and we've heard this in a couple of the meetings as speakers about your gut, your intuition, and never ignore it.
Yes.
And here you did not ignore that.
No.
And it brought this recovery, not just for your family, but for so many other people.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, especially not only as parents, but even probably from your perspective as an entrepreneur. Often we listen to the noise around us in the echo chamber and we think, oh, my gut's telling me to do this, but social media is telling me I have to do that, create a funnel, do this, all that. And I'm like, no, sometimes we just got to build that confidence in ourselves, but also in other people. The best words one of my mentors ever said to me was, I believe in you, go do it. And I think that's so important to tell young people, to tell other business people that are building businesses that impact communities, just I believe in you, keep going, keep going. I think there are times I haven't trusted my intuition, And it's backfired.
It's like having a GPS system.
Yeah.
And it's giving you direction, telling you there's a traffic block, and you say, oh, I know the way. And you ignore it.
I love the fact you said GPS, because somebody once said to me, GPS is treated as goal, plan, screen. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, set your goal, plan it, and then sit back on a couch like this and imagine you are watching your vision come to life on a screen. And your GPS, if you take a wrong turn, it just goes recalculating. Yes. So the path I thought I would take, I didn't take, but it just kept recalculating. And I ended up in some amazing places that I never would have thought I would have gone. So just keep backing up, looking at the screen. Where is this taking me? Recalculate, and pray the battery doesn't die in the process.
Right. You know what? You just said something that I hope our viewers got.
Yeah.
Is that you have this wonderful vision, this wonderful business, and it's not about the business.
No.
It's about the people, the families.
Yeah. I think often, it is tough. We're in a tough time in the U.S., in England, geopolitically, financially, tariffs, recessions. And I think I've learned, don't go chase the money. Chase the impact, follow your heart. And I believe if you really do that, it may not be quickly and it may not be in the time frame you thought it would be, but my bills have been paid every month. And I have a thing called a higher power, and I just believe in what we do, and I believe it will all work out. And it's hard sometimes, I'd like to put a new roof on the house, extend the backyard, whatever I want to do, but all in time.
I know you shared about your vision and how you got started. And what moved me in our prep for this conversation is you were talking about the impact of recovery and what it means, the stigma that people have about recovery and about the gaps. Could you talk about both of those?
Oh, I think our family is a family that is thriving in recovery. And I think a lot of young people,
Did you say thriving in recovery?
Thriving.
What? You mean there's an opportunity to be in recovery and thrive at the same time?
All the time, every day. Full
awesome.
life.
That's awesome.
We want people to live fulfilled lives. People don't stop using drugs, alcohol, gambling, pornography, technology, whatever that may look like for them, to live a boring life. I remember somebody saying, we don't stop doing this to sit in basements in churches or community centers drinking rubbish coffee all the time. We get in this life and we go to those places to build ourselves up and to support others who are on the journey. But outside of that, we can be whatever we want to be. We can make an impact in our families, in our communities, at our local GP's office, in the grocery store, and international in places like Dubai. Woo! Isn't that crazy? We're here in Dubai.
And it only took us a minute to make that connection, and yet now we get an opportunity to impact other people's lives.
Yes.
And understand that you can thrive in recovery.
Yes. I think, and a lot of people, especially in young people today, what I see is they question their relationship with alcohol, drugs, social media, but they don't necessarily want that label of recovery. There's some shame around that sometimes for some people. Some people own it and wear it well. Some people never tell anybody. And I think, like, for our family, I didn't want my daughter to fear and live in anonymity, anonymous. I didn't want her to feel shame or guilt around what had happened. So I thought, how do I help her? If she had chosen to be anonymous, absolutely fine, I would have respected that. But at the same time, it's really important, people don't know they can thrive in recovery if they don't see it. They don't know families can heal and live together and cohabitate. And have
without
an awesome
judgment.
life. Yes.
Without judgment, yeah.
So, I think one of the things when we set up Recovery Coach Academy was we were like, all we are going to do is positively promote recovery. And a lot of people contacted me and said, oh, why aren't you posting about the drug deaths in Scotland? And I was like, because there's thousands of people posting about that. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about something else. Let's talk about how my daughter is doing this, or our family is doing this, or we're creating allies in the community that are advocating for recovery in the workplace. So that's what we just decided to do, and we've never deviated from that, in the sense of, I think there's an element of people connecting through your experience. But I don't have to tell you all of that. We can talk about a piece of that, and then we can move forward into what is good and better. And I think a lot of times people think that's the only way to connect, is to tell all the war stories. And it's like,
show the battle scars.
Yes. And it's like, we do a thing called sharing your story and how to do it safely. Okay. Because, lots of people get asked to be rolled out to tell all their story. And then if they don't tell all their story, they personally feel like they're lying. And it might be that little bit of lying by omission. But what I tell people is, not everybody has the right to hear all your story. You got to earn that if you want me to share my deepest, darkest.
And when you say
times.
earning, it's about earning that trust.
Trust, relationship. You and I sitting here having more than one little conversation and going, really understanding what we do and how we do it. And I went, I'm happy to have a conversation with you. You're coming with the right intention, the right heart, ready to make a difference.
That authenticity. When I listen to your keynote, is being authentic. And being able to be at risk.
Yes.
So there's people out there that have not gotten there.
No.
But when they can hear you and your daughter and your family be authentic about, we're thriving in recovery. I love that.
Yeah.
Thriving recovery.
It was really interesting. There was a lady who attended my keynote, and she came up to me afterwards and she said, whew, I really wanted to get up and walk out. Okay. She said, my heart felt that. I had a bit of a tear. But she said, I knew I had to stay in the room. I knew I had to be part of this conversation, even though. And then she said, and then when I saw your daughter stand up, I was so glad I stayed. I saw hope. I saw a better way forward. And I thought, my goal, I'm nervous every time I speak.
I am too.
And I've brainwashed myself to say, if you're nervous, it's because you care. And I've also told myself, if I'm not nervous, I need to check my ego. Because there's something there. And I was like, if I can impact one person or one family today, that's my job.
Now, wait a minute. You came here to the conference, you gave a keynote, and your daughter got an award too, didn't she?
Yeah. So I think we were the first mother-daughter ever to receive awards at the conference as a mother-daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So this is not like some pie in the sky, some story. This is authentic. You know, your daughter was there. People got a chance to interact with her, to hear her story from her context. Because you have a context and she has a context. And it doesn't mean one is better than the other, but it's authentically both, because you as a family are thriving, recovering.
And I tell you what, I probably wouldn't be here without her. I can remember sitting in a kitchen right before COVID, and I was like, I really want to do this. I wanted to do this for years, and I never had the courage. And I think one reason I never had the courage was, you kind of worry about giving up a full-time job and paying your rent and all of that stuff. And she sat down on the back porch with me and she goes, Mom, give me 30 days and I will support you and help you and we will see if we can make it work. And it was the first time somebody had said, let me walk alongside with you and make this happen. And she brought a different tone to it. She was probably a year or so in recovery. And I said, do you want to do this with me? And she was like, yep, 30 days, let's make a shot of it. And we had 50 Post-it notes across the kitchen window, and that was our business plan. That was simply what it was, a pack of Post-it notes me and her in a kitchen. And I look back on some of the stuff we did on social media, I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, and you just can't make it disappear. Please don't go look for that, you know. But you know, we had a dream. We had a recovery coaching community in Texas that went above and beyond to help our family. So I got my first sort of recovery coach 2 years before my daughter found recovery.
Wow.
That person is still in my life today, you know? And I'll tell you, Paige, Jessica, Cynthia Branch Thompson, Houston Council on Alcohol and Drugs, helped save our family. You know, we stepped up, they stepped in.
You said recovery coaches.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's an awesome approach.
Yeah.
But it's not in all the systems, not in the employee assistance programs or any of that. So there's a gap somewhere.
There's a huge gap.
Okay.
And I think, you know, there were lots of clinicians and therapists and assessments and different things that could be accessed. But having someone to walk beside us initially as a family who was a non-clinical professional, you know, it removed all that hierarchy, all that sort of restrictions about this has to be documented, the data, all of that. They came and sat with us in our living room. We went and just had a coffee at a coffee shop. It wasn't an appointment at 9:05 for 12 minutes, in and out. They just said, whatever it takes. And that changed our life, you know. I think as a mom, I often paid the bills. You know, I tried to save. And I'll never forget, a coach said to me, they said, if you're setting boundaries and not sticking to them, there ain't no use. But I didn't have any options. It's living with the outcomes. And so my husband, my mom, and I all sat down, and it was like, what are we willing to do and what aren't we? And it was, we're not gonna send money by Western Union. We're not gonna pay the rent. We will always make sure there's a place for treatment. We will always make sure there's access to a domestic violence safe house. We will feed her, but not with cash, you know. But then we had to go, but she has the right to make her choices too, even if I don't like them, you know. And I think the realities were she could choose to go back to the situation she was in.
So she's always had choice.
I think when we take away, choice is so important. You know, when people say you've got to go to treatment or you've got to go there, we take away their element of choice. And I remember we were doing training, and I just started marking down how many times our participants said the word choice. It was like 82 times the word choice. And so what we like to say is, we need to give people who are looking for recovery, their family members or anyone interested, a buffet. Right? Now, do you go to a buffet and they say, you can only have the broccoli and the carrot cake, everything else? No, I want to try all of it.
And if I don't want it all, I get what I want. Like today.
If I just want a whole cheesecake and nothing else, that's my choice. Or what if I want to go back and try something different? What if I want? So we talk about making everything available. Free, sliding scale, paid for, inpatient, outpatient. Maybe you just need to really get out of your community and you want to go get some help in Spain or Dubai or wherever. Choice, a buffet of choice.
That's powerful. I also heard you say that there has to be cultural sensitivity, that there's not a blank way of doing it. And is there a gap in the number of people, particularly from African American communities, and in terms of recovery coaches? What do you say about that?
I believe that I have friends of so many different nationalities and color and everything. And I started looking at the people that were attending our training. And I mean, Khalees and I sat down one day and we were like, where's the diversity? Are we doing something wrong to not make ourselves accessible, approachable, you know? And we were like, no. And so I was like, it's not going to happen. Let's get out on the ground. And so I think like I talk to people in England, we've got Jamaican communities, we've got lots of different Indian, Pakistani, Asian. So it is like, how can I put the tools that I have into your hands? And then you go, right, how is this going to land? What language needs to change? What wording needs to change to make it fit and appropriate so it is accessible for your community?
And it impacts not just the community, it impacts the entire.
Yes. And so I think it's, I think I've lived in America, I've lived in England. And what I learned is we cannot arrive in a different place, whether it just be a different community in our country or a different country, and go, we know best, it's worked in America, it's Western.
Right.
We have to take the time to really work in 100% co-production. Let's sit around a table and go through every word. Does this work for your community? What needs to change? How do we do this together? And then when you go off and do that, how do we just support you in the background quietly, just to maybe help prevent some mission drift, just so you've got a resource to check in, to go, ooh, that didn't land the way I thought it would land. But that, it's having those people in the rooms who are going to go out and impact your community. I can't impact your community where you live, but I can give you some amazing tools that then I hope can inspire you to go and make an impact in your community. And that's what I believe. It's a ripple effect. My daughter and I are not going to change the world, just the two of us. But my daughter and I doing what we do and sharing how we do it with other people, it's going to change the world.
So there's three things that I'm hearing you say. One, it starts with choice, with the individual, with the families, with the employers, with institutions, and with systems. Choice. The second thing I hear you say is that we have to have cultural sensitivity.
Absolutely.
Not go in dictating to other people how to do it, but give them the tools to be able to assist their families, their communities, their employees the way they see fit. And the third thing is making those tools accessible. So could you tell people how they can reach you?
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much. So we set up Recovery Coach Academy, so you can find that at recoverycoachacademy.co.uk. That's just a website. Have a real conversation with us. Book a Zoom call, just have a chat. We will do anything to meet you where you are and help you get where you want to go, because that's what recovery coaches do. We remove the obstacles and barriers to help people achieve what they want. So if you just want to reach out and go, I think I need a recovery coach, I think my community needs a recovery coach, this might be good education for our team or employers, how do we collaborate? And I think you talked a lot about C's there, choice, cultural competency. The other big C is co-production. Let's do it together. So you can find us on Instagram and Facebook, Recovery Coach Academy, Khalees, Naetha, any way you want. We've got strange names, easy to find, but just come join, because wherever you are in the world, there is a space for you in this. And whether you impact one person or your whole country, the door is open for these conversations.
So Naetha, I have something for you.
Do you?
This is like Oprah.
Yes.
I got a car. You get a car, you get a car. I want to offer you an opportunity to have a weekly show on our television channel. This is so important.
Oh my gosh.
That we want to elevate this conversation. Too many communities, too many families are hurting. So I'm offering you the opportunity to have a weekly show.
Could I hug you?
Yes.
Thank you. Often we talk about raising other people up. And there's not many people that have raised us up. There's been a few shining stars, so I'm not. But, wow, thank you. Yes. And so we're going to train some of your guys, too, so they can spread the word in your community. We're going to make a difference together, aren't we?
Yes. So I'll be having our team get back with you, get that set up, and then we'll talk about how we can elevate each other. So
and let's get some diversity in there and elevate it for other communities.
So the idea for the drums is to make sure that you know there's somebody out there listening. Thank you so much. This is Paul William Barrett Sr. in Dubai. Remember, listen to the drums.